What is going on, guys? It is Venom Surge here, and welcome back to another episode of Elder Scrolls Online. Today, we will be checking out Draugr's Heritage. It is a heavy armor set from the Rift. As you can see here, it gives you healing taken, max health. When you take damage, while you are under 35% health, you knock down all enemies within 4 meters of you for 2 seconds. This is a stun. And heal for about 6.6k health. This can occur every 7 seconds, and the heal scales off of your max stam or magicka. Because there's so many sets in this, I am just randomly spinning a wheel that selects a zone, and I am doing a random set from each zone. So this is completely random, there's no choice in this, and this set sucks. It is an awful set. It requires you to be low on health, which you don't want, and it's all max health and stuff, so it's not really a damaging set whatsoever, but we turned it into a damage build using vampirism. Now I'll get that on that later. We are trying to kind of speed through these episodes. They have been kind of getting a little too long for my liking, so I'm going to try to speed through this, make it go by faster, and hopefully that'll also help you guys get through it too. So the next set we are using is Truesworn Fury. This is where we get even more damage when we are low health. You get crit chance, spell damage, max magicka. It adds 700 crit chance and 4% crit damage, just flat out. When you're in combat, this doubles once you're under 75% health, and quadruples once you're under 50% health. That adds to a lot more crit chance and a lot more crit damage being built up. This is a light armor set that drops in Black Drake Villa dungeon, and you can do it on normal or vet, there is no difference. Everything on the jewelry we want infused spell damage, and then everything on the body we want divines with max magicka as our enchant. On the front bar we are using an infernal staff with a normal magicka damage life drain enchant that is precise. On our back bar, we are using the perfected Maelstrom staff once again, infused weapon damage enchant, try to get that weapon damage as much, or that spell damage in this case, as much as possible. The penetration while it's equipped doesn't affect us too often because we're not really holding on to this staff, but it makes our light attacks deal an additional 1400 damage to everybody in the Wall of Elements. As our monster home, we are using Ice Heart. Both of these are light armor, divines, max magicka. It gives you crit chance, and then the second piece, when you deal critical damage, you have a 20% chance to gain a damage shield that absorbs 5000 damage for 6 seconds. While it's active, which doesn't last too long, but while it is active, you do 1200 frost damage to everyone around you within 5 meters every second. It can occur every 6 seconds, so this has a total uptime. However, it's a very small shield, it gets broken very quickly. Here's our total stats. As far as the spell damage, we got 5400. The spell crit's gonna keep going up as we get lower health, which I'll explain in a little bit. Because of our Truesworn Fury, the crit chance will keep going up, so we can get about 70% crit chance once we're really low health and activating the main Draugr's Heritage set. As you can see, we're about 5.4k spell damage when everything is procced. For max magicka, we got about 31k, we got about 24k max health, about 14k max stam, got about 1800 magicka recovery, 164 health recovery. We do not have a lot, that's because we are a level 3 vampire, and then we got about 700 stam recovery. We do have 7k penetration across the board. Our resists do not go up. We do have a skill that we can slot if we want, but I'm just leaving it like that. So we got 1400 spell resist, 10k physical resist. All attributes in magicka. We get about 48, as you saw there. Let me drain my health more. We get about 48 crit damage on top of normal, so we're at 98% crit damage. I believe the cap is 125, so we're quite close to that. We are using the Thief Mundus Stone. For our foods, you have a lot of options. We want health in this build because we are siphoning it, but you also want to put damage output. So there is tons of things that give you like max health, health recovery, max mag recovery, but I don't like that. It's expensive and everything's kind of diminished down since it's spread out so far. I personally right now am using the Ghastly Eyeballs. It is very cheap. It gives you 4.6k magicka and about 500 magicka recovery. If you're good on recovery, you can just pop this for even more health. You can actually end up getting pretty high on health. You can end up getting about 30k health just with that one food, so that's pretty powerful. You could also do Witch Potent's Brew, get a nice medium in between, so we got about 27k health and about 29k magicka. For our potions, we're just using a normal tri-stat potion. You can use the Spellcaster Elixir. We do actually have Major Sorcery and Major Prophecy through our skills, so it is wasted there. However, I do like to pop this just in case, because I may not have complete uptime on those spells. Onto the skills. So the first skill is using Sated Fury. This is a vampire skill, and basically you drain 1600 health every second, but once it's active, and it is a criminal act by the way, so be careful where you use this. While it's active, you gain 630 weapon and spell damage. While it stays on, every second, the health cost increases by 20%. And that's exponential. And you cannot be healed by anyone else, so nobody else can help you stay alive from this. It's all by yourself. Now, Sated Fury gives you 33% of the total health cost you spent, gives it back to you when the effect ends. This is how we activate our Draugr's Heritage set and make our true Sworn Fury set give us more damage. It drains us completely low, and as you can see right there, that 15k heal was from Sated Fury. So we can get this low, and that's how we can activate our two sets. Now, that last tick, that I didn't turn it off. It turns off by itself if it is going to kill you. However, if you get down to 1% health and an ad hits you, you're gonna die. It won't save you. So be careful down there. The next skill is Fetcher Infection. This is a single target DOT at range. You do about 14k magicka damage over 10 seconds. When you cast this again, it does 50% more damage onto whoever you've hit them with. When you do hit them, they get minor vulnerability, increasing their damage taken by 5%. Bird of Prey. This technically gives you more damage. It's giving you minor berserk while slotted for 5% more damage. It also gives you major expedition for 6 seconds when you activate it. However, I actually do not use this in the build. I am using a damage shield for the most part. Dampen Magic is a light armor shield, and it gives you about a 10k shield for 6 seconds when you hit this. The damage shield is capped at 60% of your max health, but each piece of light armor worn increases the damage it can absorb by 6%. We're full light, so this is as big as possible. The main reason why we use a damage shield is because we're purposely draining our health. The enemies ended up killing me all the time, so by having a damage shield, if you see, the damage shield's still protecting my health bar, it's still up, but Sated Fury is still killing me. So by having this is giving me a shield that the enemies are hitting rather than my health. Sated Fury ignores the shield, it goes straight to my health, meaning I can drain my health but not actually take damage by the ads because this is protecting me. That's how we stay alive. The next skill is Blood for Blood. This is another thing that will help you drain your health on purpose. This costs about 2k health to spam. This is actually our spammable. It does 10k magic damage straight up, and it deals up to 75% more damage based on your missing health. So as you can see, as we get lower health, it starts increasing, so now we're at 1096. After you cast this ability, however, you cannot be healed by allies for 3 seconds. That doesn't matter too much though, because Sated Fury is going to be on pretty much all the time. Also, another trick with this, while you're doing your rotation, it'll get to the point, you can heal yourself, like I said, but it'll get to the point where it's too much. You can manually turn it off, toggle it back on, and it's reset the cost back to only, see, look here, right now it says 1600. I'm gonna hit this, the cost keeps ramping up. If I reset it and turn it back on, we just reset the cost so that drain isn't doing as much, And our weapon and spell damage is still staying increased by 630, which is pretty major. Next up is Deep Fissure. Now this is a very powerful skill. You hit this skill, and then 3 seconds later, after you already hit it, it will deal 13,000 magic damage to everybody in front of you. Enemies who are damaged by this get Major Breach, reducing their physical and spell resistance by about 6k for 10 seconds. Here's the thing, this is not like Blast Bones where it's an AoE circle. It is a carpet, as you saw there. It stretches all the way out there, so I might even be able to hit him from here. I hit him from here. Blast Bones runs to the target and makes an AoE. This is a carpet starting from me, and we were able to hit him from all the way over here. Very far range, hard hitting, just like Blast Bones rotation. We'll do this skill and then 2 other skills in between. I'll explain that later. For our ulti, we're using Flawless Dawnbreaker. It does 11.7k physical damage to all enemies in front of you. It's a cone, and an additional 13,000 physical damage over 6 seconds. After you activate this, your weapon and spell damage is increased by 300 for 20 seconds. On the back bar, we are using Blue Betty. This is a free skill, and when you activate it, it gives you 5k magicka over 25 seconds. It's not a lot, but it adds up. But it also grants you Major Brutality and Sorcery, increasing your weapon and spell damage by 20%. The additional effect of this though, every 5 seconds, the Netch will remove 1 negative effect from you. Next up is Unstable Wall of Storms. You do 1100 shock damage to everybody in the carpet for 1 second, and it can set concussed enemies off balance. Concussed is a status effect that can apply from lightning damage. When this ends, it does an additional 7k explosion. So right now it's doing about 1100 damage, and as you can see, it is a carpet. And then when it ends here, it does that little explosion. Now you can actually spam this and re-proc that explosion instantly if you want to. Next up, we're using Lotus Blossom. In the PTS, they changed the skill pretty majorly, so both forms will now give you Major Prophecy and Savagery, increasing your crit chance. They also both heal when you do light attacks and heavy attacks. This is pretty much our only heal that we're actually using. This is enough to keep us alive, and then Sated Fury in our set will keep us healed while we spam the ward. This morph now increased the duration to 60 seconds. I am spending 1200 magicka for something every 60 seconds. That is powerful. We basically never need to think about this. I pop this every 4 rotations. Next up, we are using Channeled Acceleration. This is not great for DPS, however, it is good for setting up fights and good for mobility. When you hit this, it is a cast time. You channel it for 1.5 seconds, but afterwards you get Major Expedition for 12 seconds, and you get Minor Force for 36 seconds, increasing your movement speed by 30% and crit damage by 10%. So you can't do any skills while you're casting this. Next up is Gripping Shards. This is a Winter's Embrace AoE skill. At your feet, it will place icy shards that immobilizes everybody for 3 seconds if they're already in the area, and deal about 900 frost damage every second for 12 seconds. Enemies who are hit with this become bitter cold and reduce their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. That's on top of the immobilize. Damage done is based on your max health. We don't have too high max health, so it's not like crazy damage, but it does have a higher chance to apply the chilled status effect. Next up, our main ulti is Swarming Scion. This is a criminal act, be careful where you use it. For almost 300 ultimate, it is expensive. You turn into a major vampire. When you transform, your max magicka, health, and stamina are all increased by 10k. That means, with the eyeball food that we're using right now, 40k magicka, 30k health, 24k stamina. A lot of stats. And you heal for 15% of the damage that you deal. And you can see enemies through walls. That's not as much important in PvE, It's more for PvP stuff. But then bats are also swarming around you and allowing you to deal about 3.4k magic damage every second, which also counts towards your healing. This is what the ultimate looks like. As you can see, enemies are outlined in red. And then if I come up to this guy here, I'm healing for the damage that the bats are doing. Now for the passives, obviously, if you can, get all the passives possible. However, we're going to cover the ones that are actually important and going to affect this build. When any of your animal companion skills end, you heal for 1300 health. Really, that's just Blue Betty, Fetcher, and Deep Fissure. That does proc quite often. This is the main one that you want to make sure to get this. Whenever you heal yourself or an ally, you get minor toughness, increasing your max health by 10%. Right now, if I were to eat this max health food, right now we're at 27k health. If I just heal myself using any heal, I'm going to use my little Fletcher here. I'm going to reactivate it, get that heal. I am now at 30k health. That was a 3k health increase just from that passive. And yes, for a free skill, this little Fletcher thing, you can spam this and get a little 1300 heal if you want. This is the skill that you can use if you want to become a little bit more tanky, since we are very squishy. You get Major Resolve to you and your allies within 8 meters, but you specifically also get Minor Protection, reducing your damage taken by 5%. Increases your damage by magic and frost damage. That's pretty much the only passive I would focus on getting first in this. In the Destruction Staff, I would get all of them if you can, with the exception of Destruction Expert. That's not entirely important, but Ancient Knowledge is the most important one. It makes it so that way your Infernal Staff does 10% more single target damage, which we got single target here, and then your Lightning Staff AoE attacks will deal 10% more damage, which we got Wall of Elements and Gripping Shards. You get 10% more penetration, ignoring their spell resistance. That is pretty nice. In the light armor, you don't need any of the other armor passives. In the light armor, increases your mag recovery by 28%, reduces the magic cost of abilities by 14%, increases your spell resistance by 5k, increases your crit chance by 1500, and increases your penetration by 6.5. In the vampire tree, we are level 3 for a certain reason. This is why we're stage 3. It reduces your damage taken up to 30% based on your missing health. So we become more tanky the lower health we get. We also get more damage from our True Sworn Fury set, and we also get more damage from our main spammable Blood for Blood, and we are draining our health because of Blood for Blood and Sated Fury, but we're not taking damage between this and our ward. In the Fighters Guild, because we have Dawnbreaker equipped, you get 3% spell damage just for having it slotted, and while it's slotted, you generate 3 ultimate whenever you kill an enemy. There's no cooldown on this, but it has to be while slotted and you have to get the kill. So on our back bar, we do not get that. In the fish stick order, because we are using channeled acceleration, this is the main thing that I would focus on getting, is while you are casting a fish stick order ability, you reduce your damage taken by 30%. That is not named. So that just stacks on top of your mitigation, and there's no name for that. So that means your Major Resolve and protections and everything can stack with it. Now, if channeled acceleration is too hard to get for you guys, you can just go for Barbed Trapped. This is a stam ability, and it does not give you speed, and it is at melee range. The bleed isn't great, but it does still give you minor force, which is the main point of the skill. We are a Khajiit, gives us recoveries and max pools, but the most important part of it is we get an additional 12% crit damage straight out and a little bit of stealth radius detection stuff. Make sure you get medicinal use. At level 3 out of 3, it makes your potions last 30% longer. Potions normally have about a 1 minute cooldown, I think it is, or something. This makes it so, if, as you can see at the very bottom, the potion lasts for 47 seconds. The cooldown's 45 seconds, so you can have 100% uptime on your potions if you get medicinal use fully upgraded. That is a major DPS increase. Onto the champion points. Green tree doesn't matter, do whatever you want, it's not going to affect combat, except for treasure hunter. That will help you out a lot. And steed blessing makes you faster outside of combat, so you can get place to place faster. In the blue tree, get all of your passives. I would focus on crit stuff first and penetration stuff first. All this like healing stuff doesn't matter as much in the beginning. First, I'd get fighting finesse. This just increases your crit damage and crit healing by 10%. In here, we want weapons expert, increasing your light attack damage. Light attacks, if you light attack weave, can end up being one of the top 2 damage outputs in your rotation, so it is very nice to get 15% extra damage on top of that, even if it's not a light attack build. Then we want biting aura. This is helping our shulks do more damage, as well as our wall of elements and our ice circle. Master at Arms increases our direct damage attacks. That means anything that hits up front, not a DOT. So the only thing affecting that would be our spammable and shulks. In the red tree, we're using Fortified to just get more armor. We really need armor. And then we are using Boundless Vitality to help us get more health. Like I said, get the passes when you can, but I would focus on things that are giving you like health and your armor. I would first try to get to this. Whenever you kill an enemy, you have to get the kill. You get 1500 magicka straight out, and there's no cooldown. That is probably one of my favorite passives in all the CP. And then we are using Survival Instincts, making it so if you are affected with a status effect, your core combat skills, meaning blocking, roll dodging, breaking free, any of that stuff, it's not a skill, it just costs 25% less. Now for the rotation, like I said, this is similar to the Necromancer's rotation as far as using shulks. Everything is based around shulks, since it is probably one of our hardest hitting skills on this build. Now, you hit shulks, I just did right now. Wait 3 seconds, then it pops out. That's enough time for you to light attack, weave, 2 skills in between. So everything's focused on draining health. So Sated Fury needs to be on almost 100% of the time, but reset it every rotation so you're not killing yourself too much. So what we're going to do is we get our buffs on. Turn on Sated Fury. Do our back bar AoE DOTs. That's the first thing. Now, once you've done that, that's how you start it out. Sated Fury would still be on. I just had to turn it off because it was killing me since I'm explaining it to you guys. Since Sated Fury would already be on, you'd be coming in with shulks, blood for blood, fetcher flies. Shulks would have gone off by then. Do shulks again. Blood for blood. And then blood for blood again. Then you do shulks again. Come to your back bar. By then, if you did it quick enough, you only need to put down your 2 DOTs. Once you come back to the front, Sated Fury is going to be hurting a lot. So what you're going to do is still put down your shulks, but then you're going to, as if I came back to my front bar, you're going to put down your shulks, turn off Sated Fury, turn Sated Fury back on, shulks, blood for blood, fetcher flies, shulks, blood for blood, blood for blood, shulks, back bar. By this time, your little pet here would have been close to death, and possibly your channeled acceleration would also be near the end of its duration. So get those 2 back up, then do your DOTs again. You do that a couple more times, at some point your Lotus Flower is going to run out. Just keep your buffs up and do 2 skills shulks, 2 skills shulks. Every time you do 1 full rotation, reset Sated Fury or you will die. In actual combat, since we are taking damage, it is a little different since we would have the shield. What I end up doing is the blood for blood is actually not used as much. What I end up doing is replacing blood for blood with a shield. So I would do, coming in, you do shulks, shield, blood for blood, shulks, shield, fetcher flies, shulks, shield, swap bars. So you still do one blood for blood in there, and you still get your fetcher flies in, but you're doing 3 shields on that front bar because you're going to be taking in damage, and you cannot let that shield drop or you will die because you are siphoning your own health underneath of that shield. As you can see here in the beginning of the video when I was doing it, I landed 44k DPS. Now that is not the absolute best I've gotten with this character. I have pushed close to 55k. However, it seems to average around 50k DPS, but we are siphoning things, and it is not entirely like that in combat. You cannot always do your perfect rotations. Because we are draining our health so fast, and this thing actually can hit hard. When we're fully buffed up, our main skill can end up hitting 28k, 32k, you see how that there? When we're low health, 30k. 33k. Okay, so this thing hits hard when we're low health. So in our normal skill caller peak, I was doing too much damage. So for this build, since we do too much damage to test, and we are also needing to pop our ward to survive, we are doing Vet Vollenfell to show off this beginning. Now, if you notice, guys, I am using the ward, I am not using our wings. Here's the other thing. Draugr's Heritage gives you a 6.6k heal when it activates. Sated Fury gives you a heal based on how much you've drained after it activates. So what I pay attention while I'm fighting, you still spam your shield, make sure you're surviving, but once I hit that mark, I don't even pay attention if I've hit 35% of my health. The set will heal me, so I'll go down from 35. Since we have no heals, the only heal we got is Lotus Blossom, which is only doing 1300. We don't really have any heals, so I'll be slowly just draining my health, and then all of a sudden it bumps up. So then I'll just hit Sated Fury right there. We are 100% health. Normally, if you activate Sated Fury by itself, you'll be stuck at half health. Between the set and Sated Fury, we can get back up to full health and then reset the cycle again while stunning all these fools. So let's buff up, run in here. So we're just going to sit here, put out our DOTs and everything. We are just gonna sit here and drain our health. Oh, it just activated, so I just reset Sated Fury. Didn't have my ward up. It just activated, so I just reset Sated Fury. Even though it's only 7 seconds, it has a really good uptime. Just activated, so I deactivated Sated Fury. Like that, everything's already dead. This is Vet. Everything's dead very fast. We were killing ourselves. We got lions apparently. I was not prepared for that. Let's make everybody join the group here. This is mainly me just spamming blood for blood. It activated, so we reset it. Spam our shields. Reset it. See, this is where it becomes an issue. We are squishy, so if you don't spam your shield enough, you can die. I wasn't paying attention to my shield, it dropped. I'm not gonna keep this out, I wanna be real with you guys. There will be deaths with this build. This is not an easy build, but it can be a fun one. You just need to make sure you have enough shields. Now you could shield stack if you want. That is a thing that works. But I don't like to do that with my DPS. It tends to be too much on a DPS to do that. So it just knocked everyone back. So we reactivate Blood Frenzy again. Keep our shields up, watch the shields. I'm mainly just paying attention to my health. I'm not even doing any, I'm not paying attention to them. And see, like that full health when we deactivated Sated Fury and got healed from that set. That set is major to help us survive. Now let's move on to our outfit. So we are actually using the Spider Kith skin to get that red eye glow. Now what's cool about this set of looks is there's actually no coloring going on across the whole thing. All of the set pieces I chose here actually happened to be the perfect color matching for what we did. So for the head, going along with the Draugr Inheritance theme, we are using the Draugr helm. This is the heavyweight. For the breastplate, we are using medium Ebon Shadow Jack. For the shoulder, we are using the light Orc epaulets. For the hands, we are using the medium Ashlander bracers. For the waist, we are using the light Dreadhorn sash. It's that little like dragon looking thing at the very end of my sash. For the legs, we are using the heavy Bloodforge greaves. For the feet, we are using the medium horned dragon boots. For the staff, we are using the Anahili Dirtbag chosen staff. It's a really nice looking pointy scepter thing. For our back bar staff, we are using the Wayward Guardian staff. Like I said, no colors across the whole board. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a very sucky set to kind of pair with a build and try to make something good out of it, but I was actually able to make a damage dealer out of this. It is a very squishy build, so you got to be careful with that. I hope you guys enjoyed this shorter video. I try to kind of rush through this and make it easier for you guys. It is kind of getting late for me here anyways, but like and subscribe if you guys want to see more of this content. If there is any other set in Elder Scrolls that you want me to check out, even if it's a sucky one like today's, I will for sure do it and try to come up with a build for this. Otherwise, I'm just randomizing the sets that we're choosing. The next build is a very powerful and fun one though. Trust me. You guys will want to see that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.